Come on in, guys. Welcome to Idled Out, where we talk all things Survivor. My name is Luke, and today we're talking about Survivor players who completely broke the game. No, not like that. No, wait, not like that either. Not times people literally broke rules. Rather, we're talking about 5 times Survivor players played the game of Survivor in ways that the producers simply never thought about. From creative challenge workarounds to people who pushed up against the artificial barriers of the show itself, Survivor players have been seeing what they can get away with for decades now. Sometimes they completely changed the game, and sometimes what they broke was taken out of the show entirely. Let's count them down. Number 5 is the Dirty 30 breaking the auction in Survivor Worlds Apart. The Survivor auction was an institution, appearing nearly every season for the first 15 years of Survivor's existence. Survivors are given a token amount of money and then bet on various items. First it was food, then it was hidden food, with some duds mixed in to punish players with bad luck. Then even game advantages, family visits, and letters from home worked their way into the auction pool. And generally, in seasons past, after someone buys their letter from home, often for a high price because they've been bid up, Jeff lets the remaining contestants buy their letter for the same price. Well, in Season 30's auction, superfan Sharin knew this and implored everyone not to outbid the starting bid of $20. And then everyone could buy their letter for the minimum amount. This tactic did not please Jeff. On top of that, Mike, Carolyn, and Dan were holding out for an advantage and all saved their money until the very end. When they all bet their remaining $480, they had to draw rocks for the advantage. Not a terribly exciting auction when half the bidders won't use their funds. This 1-2 punch broke the auction completely, and it hasn't been back since. Thanks a lot, Dirty 30. At number 4 is the time Tom and Ian broke the endurance challenge in Survivor Palau. For Survivor's first 10 seasons, the final challenge of the game was typically an endurance showdown of some sort. Put your hand on a pole and stay there. Stand on a platform in the ocean. Climb into this medieval torture rack. A true test of willpower designed to see who wanted to win the most. Generally, these challenges would go a few hours tops. In Survivor's 10th season, though, the final 3 of Tom, Ian, and Katie had to hold onto a pole in the ocean. After Katie dropped out early on, Tom and Ian both knew the winner of the challenge would take Katie to the end and win the game. So they hung onto these poles for 12 hours. This is such a long amount of time, it simply makes me wonder about the mechanics of it all. Like if Jeff had to use the bathroom. Did he leave? What if he's gone when one of these 2 guys drop out? Does he just go off the edge and ask them to close their eyes? Ultimately, Tom won the challenge and, yep, won the game. But the show never really had a final immunity challenge like this ever again. And pretty much every future endurance challenge worked in a mechanic that increases challenge difficulty over time. I can't imagine it was ever foreseen that people would play a challenge for literally half a day. Jeff ain't got time for that. At number 3, we're going all the way back to Season 4, Survivor Marquesas. First, we have to establish that in the early seasons of Survivor, each player was allowed to bring a luxury item from home. Essentially, a little piece of home to remind themselves of what they're playing for, or maybe something fun to pass the time. Colby brought a Texas flag, for example. Rob Sesternino brought a Magic 8-Ball. Rob Z in Thailand brought a skateboard? Okay, got it? Next, we have to establish that for the first 3 seasons of Survivor, the Final 4 challenge was the Fallen Comrades challenge. So Vesepia, knowing both of these things, brings a journal as her luxury item. Then once she hits the island, she just starts writing down every piece of information she can about all her fellow castaways. That long-term thinking paid dividends for Vesepia, who won the Fallen Comrades challenge when she almost certainly would have been voted out had she lost. The challenge was never seen again at the Final 4, and luxury items were all but abolished a few seasons later, only returning here and there, typically as a challenge reward. So if you're ever watching Survivor and wondering where the luxury items are, you can thank V. At number 2, we have another similar challenge the survivors completely broke. A recurring fan favorite challenge in Survivor is Touchy Subjects, where contestants answer questions in private about each other like, who doesn't deserve to be here? Or, who hasn't lived up to their potential. Then must publicly guess who the majority of people answered for any given question. Get a question right, you get to chop someone's rope. Once your rope has been chopped 3 times, you're out. It's a fun, strategic challenge that helps shed some light on the pecking order of alliances and who likes who. When it showed up in San Juan del Sur, I thought we were in for a great time. Okay, so the majority alliance eliminates the minority of Alec, Reed, and Keith immediately. That makes sense. But then the remaining 5 of Natalie, John, Jacqueline, Missy, and Baylor, all part of the majority 5, just begin openly colluding on how to let Missy win the challenge. Jeff gets so angry that he rage quits and just lets them pick their desired winner.
Why are we wasting our time?
Seriously, Jeff has never been angrier. Look at him. Challenge completely gamed by the contestants, and what was once a fun challenge I looked forward to every season has vanished into thin air. Our number 1 game-breaking survivor is Russell Hant finding immunity idols without any clues. Believe it or not, there was a time on Survivor when survivors didn't spend half their time on the island aimlessly digging holes and looking in trees. They used to socialize with each other on the beach and wait to receive some sort of immunity idol clue to guide their idol hunt. But Russell Hant broke all of that in Survivor Samoa when he just started rooting around anywhere and everywhere like a truffle pig in his search for immunity idols.
If I could find that idol, then that would be genius. In history of Survivor, how many people found the idol without a clue? 0.
That paid off. Russell found idols this way in both Samoa and Heroes vs. Villains, which he then used to great effect. The Survivor producers were so enamored with the novelty of this that they gave him over 100 confessionals in Samoa, at least 80% of which were about searching for immunity idols or finding immunity idols or how great he is at searching for and finding immunity idols. I mean, his confessionals weren't about his relationships and bonds built in the game. Like, do you even think he knew this woman's name? Nowadays, the show barely even bothers with idol clues, and even the least game-savvy players are constantly on the hunt for immunity idols. But back then, this was truly revolutionary play and completely game-breaking. Got nothing else for you. To help me break that view counter, like and subscribe, and I'll get you more Survivor content just like this. Until next time, don't get idled out.